How's it going, guys? I'm the Mountain Man. Today we're going to be looking at the contents of my little survival tin. Stick around. Alright, so here it is. Here is my little survival tin. This is in no way a original idea of mine. In fact, I first heard about it several years ago in this book by a fellow called John Lofty Wiseman, where they talk about carrying a whole bunch of kit in a small tin for use in survival situations and emergency situations. Furthermore, there's a whole bunch of information on YouTube where they call them Altoids survival tins. So go have a look at those. This is my take on it. So as you can see, it's not an Altoids tin. It's a really pretty cheap tin I found somewhere else to do the job for me. So before I start unpacking it, just to inform you, I'm not going to tell you how to use the contents of this tin in this video. I will make some short how-to videos on how to make the contents in certain cases and how to use the contents in other cases, or various uses for the contents. So let's get into it. First up, we have on the outside a whole bunch of elastic bands. Elastic bands are just great because, well, they're great. Elastic bands can do a whole bunch of jobs, and you never know when you're actually going to need one. Then we've got this white electric tape that seals it all up, keeps the tin waterproof, and keeps the lid on. So that's quite a decent amount that I've got here, relatively long. There we go. I'm just going to stick this off camera just so it doesn't get dirty. So that will get dirty as I use it, but if it fails on me, then the elastic bands will at least keep the lid on. The tin will lose its waterproofness, but at least I won't lose the lid. So getting into it, the lid itself, as you can see, I have a whole bunch of things taped and superglued to the lid. So first up, we've got over here a striker for matches. Then over here we've got some duct tape. Let's see if I can pull this open slightly. There we go, with some fishing hooks, just two sort of medium-sized fishing hooks. Then under here we've got some hair clips, which I do use as lockpicks. Then under this piece of tape over here, just a needle, not a very big one, but there it is. And I have also magnetized it slightly so that it does point to north if I absolutely need it. And then on this side over here, it's just a couple blades from a craft knife as an absolute last ditch cutting implement. Okay, so that's the lid done. Now, mirror. Signal mirror, good for getting found when rescuers are looking for you. Little small Victorinox Swiss Army knife. Not a hell of a lot in here, but we've got some scissors. They do cut quite nicely. We've got a very small blade, and we've got a file. Along with that, we've got a toothpick, and on the other side, some tweezers. Okay, so that's that. Ugh. Get in there. There we go. Moving on, I have a whole bunch of water purification tablets. I think I've got around about 10 in here, so that should provide me with 10 liters of water. Then I've got in here some cotton wool with Vaseline, and then I have wrap them in tin foil to keep them waterproof as fire lighters. Right, here I have some cotton, some black cotton, little bit, not a huge amount. Inside it, because as you can see, space isn't, there's not a lot of it, so I got to use all the space I can. So inside it, I have a whole bunch of things that I just need to get out right. So that's there. This is also a fire lighter with cotton wool and Vaseline, but this time I have put it into a straw and I've melted the ends closed so that it also remains waterproof. Then I have these tiny little glow sticks, and they are pretty bright actually. If you use them at night, they're quite bright. They last for, I cracked one a couple months ago, and actually I had light coming off it, that usable light coming off it for almost 2 days, which I was very impressed by. These are usually used, or they were sold as fishing lures, so I can use them as fishing lures, or I can use them as tiny little bits of light for various tasks when it's dark. A whistle for signaling, pretty obvious, not much to it. Cigarette lighter, this one, I have tested it, I'm not going to show you that it works. I do know that it works, but I would just like to keep it and everything that I have in my kit as fresh and unused as possible, so that in the extraordinarily unlikely event of ever needing to use it, I've got brand new stuff. It's not stuff that's worn out, or this in particular having no fuel in it or anything like that. So got that. We have a birthday candle, because sometimes it's your birthday and your friends forget. No, that's not the reason for it. Actually, this is also for fire starting. Sometimes it's just easier to light it with your cigarette lighter and then use it to transfer flame onto a fire or something like that, rather than trying to keep a flame going on this, which burns up valuable fuel and obviously heats this up very rapidly. So I'm just going to pop that aside. I've got some fishing gut wrapped around a piece of cardboard. How much, I don't know. I just took it off a fishing reel, sorry, and I just took a whole bunch off and then coiled it really tightly around this cardboard. So I'm not exactly sure, but it's a good few meters. Probably, I would say, a rough estimate, somewhere around 10 meters. But yeah, don't hold me to it, because I'm not entirely sure. Safety pins. Safety pins have many uses. And with safety pins, paper clips. Also, little bits of wire have so many uses. If you can just use your imagination, you'll figure out something. Okay. A lens, so you can read small print or make a fire using the sun. A condom, because sometimes you just need a condom. But actually it's in here mostly because of the fact that this little piece of latex, if you use it in a similar fashion to a water balloon, can actually hold up to about 1 liter of water. So it's not going to taste amazing, but emergency, that's the name of this tin, it's the name of this game. Emergency, you've got water with you, or you can collect water. Then we've got some steri swabs, so alcohol swabs for sterilizing cuts and wounds, because you tend to just nick yourself all the time, little nicks and scratches and whatnot, and you don't want those to get infected and go septic. And then finally, well, not quite finally, but at the bottom of the tin's empty, we've got steri strips, sutures. So if you've got a pretty, like a big cut, you can use this to seal it closed, make it closed, before you head off to go get stitches or something at your local clinic or hospital. And then this, as I said, move it aside. So we've got this little bank bag that is full of all sorts of also fire starting goodies. So in another elastic band. Opening it up, we have 10 waterproof matches. Now, these were just ordinary safety matches, but I've gone and waterproofed them. So they're not as good as stormproof matches, but they do the trick. I've tested them out in various weather conditions. They do work, but these are like a serious backup, obviously, and then they strike against the striker, which is super glued into the lid. Moving on, in this little packet we've got char cloth. Now char cloth, if you don't know, is just amazing for starting fires. So I've got tons of it in here, not quite tons, it's quite an exaggeration, but I've got a fair amount of it in there for that purpose, and it's a pretty renewable resource, so if it's necessary and I run out, I can always use the tin to make some more. As I said, we'll get some videos in about that. Salt to keep all the contents of the packet dry, because these are fire starting implements, so we don't want them to get moisture, because the only time we're really going to be starting fires with all of this is in a really severe situation, and the last thing you want is for your last line of defense to be worthless. Then we've just got some cotton wool, basic cotton wool, and in here with the cotton wool we have, although it seems to have stuck to the cotton wool, a fuel tablet. One of these can burn for several minutes, so again, if I need to start a fire, I've got the means to do so. And the cotton wool, it's a bit dirty now, but there are still clean bits to it, so you know, a field dressing for a wound that's a little bit more serious than can be handled with these things, the cotton wool can be in there. Use some of the tape that seals the tin, and you know, you've got a small little bandage that can help you until you get to medical services. Right, so here I have everything laid out in a slightly more organized manner to how I discarded it all earlier. Just so you can see it, I'll zoom in a bit. The tin, the lid with everything taped and super glued to the inside, the paper clips, elastic bands, candle, there's us on the mirror, antiseptic swabs, steri strips, the condom, the whistle, the mini Swiss Army knife, the safety pins, little fire starting tab, the cotton, the fishing gut. Here we've got those mini little glow sticks, water purification tablets, let's do the waterproof matches, char cloth. I'll explain how to make it and how to use it in a different video. Here I've got the lens, I've got some salt to keep all of this dry, and the cotton wool in a bank bag, and the cigarette lighter. So there we go, that's all it is. And as I said earlier, I will make a video on how to use all of these things a bit later on. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, just push that little button over there that says like. Also push the other button that says subscribe, and then in the description there's a link. Check out my Facebook page to stay up to date with everything I post on my channel. Thanks very much, guys. See you soon.